calling in your higher self, your guides, benevolent beings of the highest light. Angels, our cosmic family, source, creation, energies with the intention of love, connection, light, frequencies of activation, consciousness expansion, and breathing in deeply to receive this, to receive your source, to receive your full embodiment, your full presence here. Anchoring in pillars of light all around us. Activating the light grid, our lands, our souls. Channeling in light to all whom we are connected with, all situations, all scenarios, all relationships. Allowing for this time, this space. And bringing your hands to your heart. Centering your energy in the center of your chakra system. Giving gratitude and thanks to our ancestors, the elements, the four directions, all aspects and extensions of creation in which have guided us here to meet in this moment. Taking a moment to activate gratitude inside of your body and fill your whole system with it. Knowing that as you bring awareness to this energy, it amplifies within you. Increasing. Knowing that this energy is yours to keep, to take with you, and it just keeps growing. And so it is. Yay, thank you, thank you. Feeling all of you so much. So beautiful once again to meet in this time and space. I know I say that a lot, but like this is casual, but it's like not that casual because we really out here, we really doing this. We are really doing this. So as Dashima was explaining, this is the spring equinox portal and it is invoking a higher frequency of light. So as many of us know, we have entered into the new age of Aquarius, where astrologically, planets have aligned to support the field more. So what does that even mean? If you observe, it's been like a process to activate and to increase light within our bodies and our consciousness. And often it may feel like you have this high frequency awareness or you shift to higher states of consciousness and you invoke higher frequency energies and it's like, I'm living in 5D. I am this conduit. I'm experiencing this. And then it's like time will go on, days will go on, maybe even minutes, maybe even hours. And it's like, whew, okay, and we're back, or something on earth happens, or in a relationship or a situation or a thought. And it's been somewhat challenging to maintain this frequency, this vibration of higher states of consciousness and feeling and emotion. However, with the recent shift that we've experienced over the past few months, and again, today is a very powerful portal, really like the last 3 days until like the next 3 days, it's kind of like a significant portal, so even today too. So it's like a 7-day portal of like opening, of intention setting. So that's why it's so powerful and important to set intentions here, and to, even if you observe like thoughts coming in or ideas coming in that are like, it may just be that you're purging them, and you can actually intentionally send higher frequency energies or higher frequency thoughts like, that's not really what I choose to think about, or that's not really what I'm choosing to feed. So if things come through for you, it could just be like part of a transmutation process and a purging. But essentially, with this recent shift, the field is energetically more supportive. So it is going to be increasingly easier to maintain a higher frequency and a higher state of consciousness. So you will observe yourself, and maybe even observe yourself, how you have shifted, how you have evolved, and maybe scenarios have come in for you that have tested you a little bit or wanted to challenge you in ways. And yes, let's be real, like we're doing a really big thing as humans, like integrating souls into human form here on earth. Like our guides are like, this is incredible, you guys are amazing, we don't even really exist in physical form, and here you guys are doing it. You are channeling these energies that we exist in higher dimensions, in a form of energy. Here you are doing it in physical form, so you guys are incredible. You guys are incredible. This really is really, really epic what we're doing. But you will notice that it is easier to maintain your frequency and to continue to shift, continue to bring in more light, and that is really what we are here to do, is to alchemize, is to transmute things. And so with that, it's also knowing that often we as light beings are gifted situations for us, not only for us, but for the collective as well, in order to transmute them, in order to bring more light to the situations, to the relationships, to the ailments, to the imbalances. So it's knowing that you, whatever you experience, whatever themes come in for you, whatever aspects and variables you get to juggle and transmute, you are a conduit of creating a higher state of consciousness and more light through that particular situation or relationship or scenario. So you may just be experiencing like something, a toxic situation or something that is not ideal, but that's not all that you're doing. You are literally bringing in more light and more perspective, an alternative energy into that situation just by being you. So it's knowing that perhaps everything really truly is a gift for you. And not only for you, but it's a part of your purpose. Often people ask, I get questions all the time, how do I find my purpose? Your purpose is literally to experience whatever you are experiencing and whatever comes to meet you in a higher state of consciousness, to feel it fully, to let yourself go into the depths, yes, express it, have the emotions, have the different levels of experience in it, but then rise. Bring yourself to a higher light right after. That is your purpose. And even just in allowing yourself to go through those phases and to go through the experiences fully, without bypassing, without going too far into the depths where you lose yourself or getting trapped in the healer's trap of like, I need to keep healing, I need to keep healing. By bringing yourself back to center always and allowing yourself to rise once again and trusting and knowing that you are a part of something much bigger and you have an incredible amount of support in this realm as well as in all of the higher realms to keep getting better, to keep evolving, to keep transmuting, to keep activating your powers, your abilities, knowing that you will continue to rise and you will be gifted new scenarios, new realities in entirety. So trust this, know this. You are like, you have superpowers. You are truly a being that has never existed before in form as you are. Yes, many of us have experienced Earth before, and we've been traveling in the cosmic realms as well. But no one and nothing has ever existed how you are, with this set of traits, with this set of personalities, with this set of abilities, with this purpose specifically. So it's really so important to know that you are important. Not only important, but you are one of the guides. You are one of the leaders of light. You really, truly are. And the more that you invoke this confidence within you and you increase this energy within you, the more you will remember who and what you are. And that's what we need. That's what Earth is requesting. That's what our guides are supporting us in, is for you to continue to remember, to continue to know. Because we need you. You are so purposed and perfect, literally just as you are. And with knowing that, you keep remembering really how perfect you are, how epic you are, how powerful your soul is. So invoking this energy within us now, even if there are little remnants of like, well, how? Or this, or like, but there's this or this. Good. Good. It's actually all combining to increase your strength, your power, to bring you closer to your full embodiment. So let it all be. Let it all exist. And just keep knowing. Just keep knowing. So I'm curious, how are people feeling today? How have people been feeling in the past few days? If you want to let us know in the chat. And by the way, if you ever have questions throughout any of this, we're going to be taking little periods of time to answer your questions. So if you've ever had like a question for me, or if you are curious about anything in this space, or if something comes up and you want it to be clarified, would love to connect with you in this space in a verbal way, because let's be real, we're connecting in frequency already. The transmission is here. And even just tapping in, so we have 65 people in here right now, which is so epic, because like that's like a good amount of people from all over the grid, but in comparison to the billions that exist on Earth, like we are a very specific chosen few. So again, wherever you are tapping in from, the fact that you have chosen this moment in time is very significant. You are one of the guides. You are one of the leaders. Never doubt this. Never doubt this. It's here, it's confirmed, and it will continue to be confirmed in your tangible reality. And just even in these spaces too, setting these intentions, like I tapped in like a little bit late, but let's be real, what's late? It's all divine timing. I sit here and I activate an energetic grid of connection, of high vibrations, of love, of compassion, of remembrance. And you are doing the same too, whether you knew it or not. So even as we take this time to be here, this amplifies, this increases, this continues to assist you in so many ways, even beyond this moment. So you take this energy that you are cultivating here with you now, with you eternally. Eternally. Okay, so yeah, people are saying that they feel more hopeful, happier. High frequency energy is coming through, yes. And I'm so grateful to be here with you guys too. And yeah, very intense releasing. Yes, I feel that. Oh, with the vivid dreams. The dream space has been super intense recently, and also very significant. Lots of messages are coming through in all realms of your consciousness. So it may be in your dream space. It may be in your waking space where you're going about your day and a thought comes through. The way to translate it and to actually receive the tangibility of the message is not always necessarily paying too close attention to the details of it, but more so removing yourself to an external view to where you are not getting trapped by, or you're not getting infiltrated by any of the detailed energies or anything else that's in the field, but instead remove yourself to a higher perspective and see symbolically, feel into it symbolically. What is this person representing? What is this situation representing? What is this energy representing? And whatever that is what you are being energetically assisted with by your guides right now, by your higher self, by God, by Source. That's what's being transmuted and alchemized within you. And whatever it is that is challenging us, specifically, especially within this time, within this portal space, that situation, that theme, is actually where you are accessing and reclaiming more of your power. More of your power. So a lot of the themes that have come up have been where perhaps you have allowed yourself to dilute your power a little bit, yet that is actually where you have the most power. You have great purpose in those themes, in those situations. So we are being shown these things on many, many levels. Where is it that I can reclaim more power, anchor in more sovereignty? Where can I bring more clarity? What can I shift? Where can I align myself even more? So take a moment here, because we're going to be doing a clearing transmission meditation. Take a moment here to just acknowledge some of the things that maybe you are releasing, maybe some of the themes that you've been purging, and some of the things that you are looking to let go of, to transmute, to alchemize. And this is actually done within an energy of power and perseverance and excitement, knowing that all things are energetic and you have the ability to literally rewrite and redefine something within seconds. So what is it that you are ready to alchemize, to transmute, to shift? What are you ready to change? Because it's exciting. We are always going through an evolutionary period. Every phase in our life is that. Just like nature, who nature is such a beautiful example. She does not judge herself. She's unconditional. I'm in this phase. I'm going to rise. I'm going to blossom. I'm going to show my colors. I'm going to grow in little cracks and crevices from the soil, from the depth, from the darkness. And she blooms and she blossoms and she has this purpose, and that is her energy in that moment. And then time goes by and she's ready to shed. Release the petals, release the leaves. Allow herself to go back into the soil and to birth again, to renew herself. And with this awareness, again, you reclaim power from any moment of being like, should I be in this? Why am I experiencing this? Or it's like, yes, absolutely, and it's incredible. And I planned this for myself before I came here to Earth. So I'm not only strong enough for this, I have a superpower within this space. This is a part of my purpose here. And by experiencing it, I am living out my purpose. This is a part of my collective mission here. So it's like, thank you, challenges. Thank you, unideal experiences. You reminded me. You brought me back to this space, back to this center, back to my heart. Thank you. Thank you, person. Thank you, fellow human, extension of self. I can send it love. I can feel good about it. And again, that's your power. That is your power. So with this, we're going to be tapping in to a transmission portal to fully release the old story, the past identification of what it was, why it was, so that we can continue to open up in a new space. to bring in new meaning, to bring in new connection, new abilities, to access more of your power in any of these situations or scenarios, to remind ourselves continuously that we're good. Everything is good. Like literally best case scenario. I don't know if you've heard that before, but it's a thing. Mm. And within this portal space, we're also going to be planting tools of assistance, miracles, beautiful experiences in our future reality tangibly to continue to remind us, to continue to support us. So with that intention and awareness, as we do create this portal space here together, and we levitate in these supportive frequencies of trust, of knowing, of faith, of hope, of alignment, everything beyond us aligns for us. So that even as you transition from this space, the energies stay with you eternally. And these tangible tools of remembrance, of support, in which we are planting within our physical reality beyond this moment, we will continue to be supported in new ways so that we are fully lucid in conscious awareness, in connection to source, to our higher selves, full embodiment beyond these moments even, to where we never forget, never question, never doubt. It's always known. It is always known. Okay, beautiful. So this can be, you can do this, of course, however you want and in whatever way feels best to you. So you can lay down, you can sit upright, you can keep your eyes open or you can keep them closed. And within this little portal space, make sure that you're comfortable wherever you're at. Because we're going to just be levitating in these frequencies and again invoking this space for everything beyond us to align for us and support for us and support for all. So coming to a space where you feel really good and simply ready to be, it's going to be a quantum space. And within it, there's going to be a portion where we are guided to move our hands. And if you feel called to stay still in that moment, please do so. But if you do feel called to join along to this specific guided movement, then do so as well. And again, you can be sitting down or laying down. It's not going to be like any extreme movement. And just giving a moment here to allow for everyone to come back. I see everyone's shifted. I love it. All right. So we begin. You can close your eyes here or keeping them open. Relaxing your whole body. Breathing in deeply through your chest, through your belly, the back of your throat. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your mouth. Allow for a sigh or an audible sound. Letting your body know that you are going to be letting go of anything from the past that is already expired and ready to be given a new story, a new meaning, a new energy altogether. And as you continue to breathe, releasing any tension, softening all the places in your body that are asking for it, that are ready to be relaxed. Observing the auric field that surrounds you, an energy of golden light, indigo light, ultraviolet light that surrounds you, that supports you. It is here for you in all moments. Simply observing this, bringing awareness to this, connecting your energy to this support, where your personal auric field meets that of divine light in which is always existing. Being grateful for this, for the fact that you are existing here in presence, that you have chosen to incarnate within this extremely powerful time, during this shift, knowing that you not only had the strength, but only you could do this specific mission. Sending gratitude to your human self, appreciating your form, your heart, your organs, your bones, your blood, for always being there for you. For allowing you to transmit your soul's essence and energy into your form, knowing that any phases or cycles of the physical form are also divine, and you are the conduit to make them divine, to experience them by bringing more light to them. Perfect, powerful, knowing that you are this, allowing yourself to fully experience it and receive it. Levitating in this space of trust, of connection, as your higher self continues to channel through you, through your crown, circulating through your chakra system, the embodiment of your higher self, of your soul, of God, of Source, your divine connection to creation, letting it channel through your body and being into your physical form fully, awakening your cells, restranding your DNA, unlocking the codes of wisdom within you, expanding the light inside of you, around you, granting you more access to your own tools, your own abilities, that which you have even yet to acknowledge. connecting to these abilities, to these powers. The energetic, the spiritual, the psychic, the physical, the emotional, the mental, all of the embodiments of light, the aspects and variables of divinity in which you came here to embody. Increasing within you now, increasing around you now, bringing awareness again to the breath. And as you circulate this oxygen throughout your body and being, observing how it is so filled with light, with support, with the essence of remembrance, encoding within you, embedding within you. Anchoring in yourself, in this energy, within this time and space, connected to this awareness, as a conduit, allowing for this energy to become fully eternal through awareness in your mind, in your heart, in your body, within your soul, connecting all of these aspects, claiming all of your power to you now. Claiming all of your energy to you now. Claiming all that is meant for you in the most harmonious, perfected, beneficial, supportive way. Claiming all of your tools, your abilities, your purpose, your mission. Claiming it all to yourself now. And with this, anything that we have experienced previously, regardless of how light or how dark it may have temporarily appeared, allowing for it to be infused with this energy in which you have actively cultivated here. Not needing to focus on any of the details necessarily, but all aspects of it becoming more light now, as you have fully reclaimed your power, your presence, your knowing, your faith, your hope, allowing it to increase and enhance all that you have experienced, to even rewrite the past. Why something happened, how something happened, allowing for it too to shift as you have shifted and evolved. Allowing for all things that have ever occurred, that you have ever experienced, that you have ever done, to shift to a higher frequency now. Its reasoning, its meaning, becoming fully positively polarized. And with this, as you continue along on your journey, you will be continued, you will be supported, you will be reminded why this has happened in a positive way through simply experiencing new energies. They're experiencing miracles. The seeds have been planted so that you continue to remember, so that you are able to access new perspectives. You access a new way of dealing with things, of experiencing things, so that all that comes into your field is of a positive light, supporting you, protecting you, loving you, enhancing your experience here on Earth. Allowing for this fully to take place within this amplified space and time. And if you feel called, taking your hands to your heart, amplifying the energy of your heart space, the center of your chakra system, your energetic body, in your physical body, your soul essence that emanates into all of your cells, and hovering your hands over your heart. Feeling the tangible light within your hands that is surrounding you, bringing energy and awareness to your aura. And now amplifying your aura, enhancing the portal of light that surrounds you by moving your hands up and over your chakra system. So from your crown, the top of your head, to your third eye, your throat chakra, your heart, the solar plexus, your sacral, and your root. And allowing your hands to be guided here. Connecting to your own intuitive guidance. Perhaps your hands move quickly, or maybe they move slowly. Maybe they extend to your sides, up and over your body and being. And taking a deep moment here to fully tap into and bring awareness to your own energetic field as it is being infused with higher frequencies of light within this moment and within all moments to come. This moment is amplified. In this moment, you are anchoring in a higher frequency of light into your body and being, and thus your reality, your experience, all moments to come. Again, allowing your hands to move as they desire, unlocking your own intuitive wisdom through movement, knowing that your hands are extremely powerful. You hold light, you direct light through your hands, So allowing your hands to move to whatever chakra you're looking to actively increase with more light. Channeling healing, channeling power, channeling energy, divine connection to this specific chakra. Perhaps there are a few, perhaps it is all. Levitating in this space of support. Again, knowing that this moment is amplified, is supportive of you far beyond this moment. Dissolving any timelines that are no longer necessary. Fully adjusting and aligning yourself to the timeline, the experiences, and which are most supportive for you, and which are most harmonious, regardless of what comes to meet you in the field. You stay connected, you stay present, always, eternally, regardless of anything else. You always have this ability. Letting it emanate throughout your body and being even more so. Again, it is amplified. Experiencing your own light. And bringing your hands back to your heart. Anchoring this in, receiving this fully. Taking this energy with you eternally. You always have this. It is forever yours. Eternally yours. Allowing it to be forever. Allowing it to show, to emanate, to beam throughout your being, throughout your cells, throughout all that you are. Forever and always. And so it is. And so it is. And so it is. Mm. So beautiful. I'm so grateful. You guys all feel so good, so powerful. Because yes, it's energetically felt. And allowing ourselves to acknowledge this reality more and more like, yes, energy not only exists, it's everything. That which you feel, you are intuitively connected. Trusting this intuition that you have. This is your channel of guidance, of wisdom from the higher realms, from your higher self. That is what your intuition is. Granting yourself this fully. And so it is, and so it is. And so I'm curious because there's always like a channeled guidance of an agenda to an extent, like what is best to be experienced and connected to and shared within these portals. So I'm curious if you have any questions, perhaps in terms of letting go or planting new seeds, how to transmute or how to alchemize. And yes, Dashima, how you doing, girl?
Thank you, God. That was so beautiful. His
Mhm.
voice is such an angelic realm in itself. So thank you. Yeah, I'd love to hear from everybody. I see a lot of beautiful comments. One beautiful goddess said that was powerful, Heather. Thank you, Queen. We got some people levitating like Dua Lipa. Really nice comment. And it feels like everybody really felt it. Megan, I'm letting go of the need and desire to be right. Beautiful. Yeah, anybody who wants to declare what you're letting go of, and we can hold space for that. We love to do that for you as well. Marissa said something beautiful, just healed past life blockages. How about you? Amazing, Queen.
Mhm. And so it is, and so it is.
Oh, any of that. Body is tingling. Justin said, I have tons of questions. One is about past lives and past life traumas and how to transmute those. That's a great question. Thank you for joining us, Justin.
Mhm.
Being a leader in the divine masculine energy, we've been talking about that a lot, and we love to have men in our energy groups because we really love you. And yeah, you want to speak about that, Heather, and answer Justin's question?
Yes, yes. So I'm looking for it. We
Said
have.
one about past lives, past life trauma, and how to transmute that.
Mm, yes. Okay. This connects to not only like transmuting past things, but just like letting go even of like attachment or having to hold on to something or even old stories. It really is about knowing that again, everything has been meant for you. And that past perspectives are always subject to change and really how you choose to perceive it. So say it is like a past trauma of something like a death, or I actually have experienced a past life experience where I literally died as this African man that I once was and experienced the death with him. And I was actually really young when this happened, completely sober. And it was one of my first like trance experiences personally. And when I experienced it, I was like stabbed to death and like fully bled out and experienced the whole transition of what it felt like to actually die. And for some reason, because I was experiencing it, I knew that it was a positive thing. And so I chose to remove myself from the actual experience of it and allow the perspective to come in to see how and why that was meant for me. And so with that, it showed me that allowing myself to experience that gave me a strength and a power to never fear death, to know and to see and to experience how my soul then transitioned into a more liberated form, and how my energy really truly is internal. It's not just subject to physical form. And so by allowing myself to feel that and to even just like levitate in the space of like, whoa, wow, what was that? What happened? Is that okay? Like, am I okay? Like, was that normal? What is that? And again, I was a lot younger, so I didn't have much context or information as to like what was happening or what I was actually experiencing. But allowing myself to fully feel that, I then observed that I had access to all of the powers and abilities that he had, the wisdom, the physical abilities, the embodiments, the power, the presence, the knowing. And so, with that, I have experienced multiple times in my life where that energy of that previous embodiment of myself has come to assist me, has come to help me. Where it's like, yeah, it's Heather, but it's not just Heather here. I have the power and the presence and the ability and the connection of an entirely other embodiment. And again, there could be a perception where that could be considered an extremely traumatic lifetime. However, that's not what I'm taking with me from it. I'm honoring him and his experience, mine in another form, and instead focusing on and feeding and channeling the tools and the abilities that have come from that space, from that embodiment, honoring the past experience, honoring truly my past life. So even if it has been traumatic, or if it has been like, let's be real, like we come to Earth to like go through challenges and again transmute things. It's rare that a human comes to Earth and it's just like, wow, this is like literally amazing. It's not that time yet. It hadn't been that time, especially yet. I mean, it's like literally this time, like now, but it hadn't been in the past. So it's knowing that actually it was meant for you, and you access powers then. You access abilities then, and you take those with you. That's what you choose to carry with you, is the strength, is the clarity, is the new perspective those experiences have brought for you. And we all have these past life experiences, even if this is your first time on Earth. You've had them in the galaxy. We have all had multiple embodiments. So we all have things with us. And in knowing that you actually get to choose what you carry with you, what you bring with you, what you keep, simply just knowing this allows you to let go of the traumas or the negative things that could have happened in that life. And that is how you honor that form. That is how you honor this form. That is how you honor all forms. And so even I'm just like feeling into what's being asked even from this question after explaining that. Well, what about the aspects or like the parts of me that are reacting from this old past version of self? When you acknowledge that, when you feel that, reclaim your power then. Speak to that aspect. Literally speak out loud to yourself if necessary. I do this all the time. Okay, I'm feeling this way. I'm not sure if this is what is most beneficial for Heather in this life going forward. Are you okay if we change that story? Past life, other aspect. Can we let this go? Are you ready to do something new? Are you ready to change? Are you ready to exist in a new way? Honor this feeling, honor this emotion, honor this experience in your other aspects of self, in your past lives. Honor it, yes. But know that you are the decision maker here and now. Through your free will. You are the one who chooses. And in simply acknowledging this energy, the past energy, that which is perhaps not as harmonious, that may be all that had to happen in that, is for it to be acknowledged and felt.
Heather, you're on mute.
Oh, hi.
Don't know
It was
why.
like, let's give everyone some time in that space real quick. And we back. And so once you have allowed that time and that space to acknowledge the past aspects, speak to that past life. And again, it can actually be just another aspect of yourself. In one space, you're happy and you are here, and then maybe it's a darker aspect of yourself. Then you ask, are you ready to shift? Can we change? And now, what power do you have that you want me to embody and access and move forward with? What tool are you carrying? What can we utilize to have a better way, to unify and become more harmonious? And with that, simply just asking, you will be shown. You will be told. We just simply must bring awareness to it and allow for the space and honor the other aspects. So rather than observing it and just getting trapped in the story and having it be this and this, literally just allow yourself to come to center. Speak to these other aspects. And decide that we are changing, that it is a new way. That gives these other aspects the time and the space and the ability, just by channeling the awareness and the consciousness, to that space that maybe may have been infiltrated with story or density. It's bringing light. Because what is light? Light is awareness. It is consciousness. It is information. It is connection. That is what light is. And of course, love. But in a way to tangibly experience it, it's awareness. So you bring awareness to it. And you allow it. Do we have any other things? Okay, wow. All right, all the comments just came through at once.
My question.
Okay,
so I'll
yeah.
someone said, Jamira, my question is, how can you manage your triggers when your nervous system gets activated?
This is so good. And hi, Mira. I love you. Okay, there are so many different ways, and it's really always going to be just specific to you and what works best for you. And also, I'm observing that it changes for me all the time, where when I experience a trigger or something that doesn't really feel that great or is unideal comes into the field, sometimes I will literally just shake it out. Literally just shake it out. It tries to attach to you. It tries to like work its way into your field, and it's just like, no, just like move. Let it shake out. It's not landing here. I'm not keeping this. This isn't mine. This isn't meant for me. Sometimes it's slow movement. Sometimes I actually use my hands to put more light into my field, to strengthen my aura, my own personal light grid of connection to divinity. I enhance this with my hands. I move it, I clear it out of my body and being. And often, it's literally just breathing and not like, just like meditating. Like sometimes the breathing is loud and audible and you actually have to get it out of your body. But when we are triggered, it activates an energy around us that is trying to sit within us. And sometimes it feels like it's coming from within. Either way, you don't have to hold on to it. You don't have to keep it. You don't have to let it settle itself within you. You can allow for that energy to settle, yes, and maybe that is by, again, just breathing and being still and audibly exhaling. But you don't have to keep it with you. Knowing that it's there for you to experience it, but it's not yours. It's not yours. It's actually not yours. And yeah, also just like physically with like helping your nervous system, making sure that you are drinking lots of water, that you're eating the right foods. If you feel super flighty, you can eat more grounding foods. Like they're just asking me to share with everyone, like roots, vegetables, things from the ground. Utilizing the tools that you have. Plants, being out in nature more. Often we experience things in our nervous system because we are overstimulated. So perhaps you need to just shake it off, to breathe, and go be in stillness, to go be in nature. And literally just lay there, sit there. Just breathe, allow yourself to make weird noises. Allow yourself to do weird things with your hands. Because really, you are a channel and a conduit of energies that are far beyond you and that come from far beyond you. So you're most likely shifting something in your body and your cellular DNA and for the collective whenever you feel called to do these intuitive things. And really giving yourself permission. Like, I feel called to make these weird noises. I feel called to make these weird movements. I want to lay on my floor right now. I want to sit in my closet. I want to go on my roof. Listening to these things and actually allowing yourself to follow them and to do them, you will be guided to the message as to what it's actually doing for you. Really trusting yourself. Trusting yourself. Mm.
Okay, we got more questions. Melanie, perhaps you could touch on your own personal experience with letting go of habits and rituals that you not currently that do not currently align with the timeline you're called to attune to. So basically,
Mm.
how do you really let go of habits that are not aligning you with your highest timeline?
Mm. Yeah, there are many ways that I do this personally. Often, if I observe a past habit or something that may have served me previously but isn't anymore, I'm excited to change it. And there's many ways that I like to do that, where maybe it is replacing it with something else or evolving it, knowing that I'm going to become better, that I'm going to experience a better reality in shifting this specific thing. So if it is something tangible, so say that it's, I'll share about something tangible and then something energetic like a thought or like a way of processing in habit. If it is something tangible, literally physically replacing it with something else. So say that it's eating something that you don't want to eat. Instead, it's actually eating something that you do want to eat that is good for you. It's literally just replacing it. Or maybe it's something else physical. Instead, okay, every time I want to do that or every time I'm doing that, instead I'm going to drink water. I'm going to chug water. I'm going to chug water. That's actually something that I do often, where it's like, if you've ever like really chugged water, your body has to like open up and like shift into a space to where you can receive the water that you are chugging. And it completely shifts you physically out of the previous state in which you were in. So utilizing the elements. Sometimes if it's something tangible and I don't want to be doing it anymore, and maybe it's like, oh, I need some extra assistance in transmuting this and alchemizing this, I'll light a flame. I'll light a candle. And I'll speak to the candle, to the flame, and ask it to burn away any of the desires, any of the habits, anything that is not feeling good about it. Burn it away, fire, take it from me. It's not mine. This is no longer mine. This is no longer for me. And if it is an energy or a pattern or a thought process, I'm going to give you like tangible things to do in these scenarios. You can write it down. I like literally love using the elements. You can write it down, whatever it is that you're ready to change and to transmute, and you can burn the piece of paper. And with that, allowing for that situation, that scenario, or that version of yourself to burn and transmute with the flame, moving from a solid into flame, into ash, into air, transmuting it entirely. And it's also about getting excited for that new version of yourself when you don't have this specific habit or when you aren't feeding into this energy. What does that version of you look and feel like? What is that version of you able to do? And even with that, that's how you know you're ready. That's how you know you're ready, is by focusing on that energy. And anytime it comes in and the habit comes in, instead focusing on and giving your energy to and your awareness to that version of yourself, that new version of yourself, and getting excited about it. And then doing something else in that moment, again, replacing it, putting on a song immediately and dancing it out. Doing some breath work real quick. Putting on a meditation and listening to a guided meditation. Calling up a friend. Calling yourself out to yourself out loud. Whoa, this is coming through again. I'm not choosing this anymore. I feel you wanting to do that aspect of self. However, this is no longer for me. This is not mine. We're changing. It's a new way. Address it and shift it. So yeah, there's like millions of different things. It changes per habit or version of myself that I'm ready to evolve. And it's knowing that you are also supported in this just by having the awareness of the fact that you want to change something. Again, light is information, light is awareness. The gecko agrees. I don't know if you can hear that, but it said that when the gecko goes off here in Bali, it's confirming that truth is being spoken. So I appreciate that, gecko. I appreciate it.
You're allowed.
You can hear him?
Really loud. He's cute.
Maybe that's who was sleeping in my room last night.
He was confirming you all night.
Yeah.
We have more questions. We got Kelly. She's been talking. She's been trying to actively asking for an energetic cord to be cut between herself and a guy, yet he persists in her thoughts. How do I release this for good? I lovingly want his energy, Gonski. I like how she said that. It's so nice. Bye, Felicia.
Hello, beautiful. Okay, yes, often these cords are energetic, or I mean, they literally are energetic, but often they are physical too, where if you have connected in a sexual way, then it could be like in your cellular makeup or in your memory. Or so how do we transmute that? By energetically shifting it. So even just for if there was a sexual connection, then drinking water with the intention to clear it out, and to bring in new light, and saying even just, I am sovereign, I am sovereign, I am sovereign in my energy, I am sovereign in my energy, to physically transmute it. And then really doing like a cord cutting meditation with yourself first, on your own. There's lots online. I've actually shared a few of them online as well. And doing a meditation and taking the time and the space for yourself to clear that energy, writing it down, again, burning the paper. And then if you are in a comfortable space with them still, where you are able to do this and you feel good about doing this, I have before, if I've wanted to cut cords or energies with people that I'm no longer in a relationship with, or I feel like is like lingering in my field, or they're like projecting in my field still, or like wanting to keep that cord of attachment, then I will send them, whether it's in person or text them or call them or send them a voice note of a like a cord clearing invocation, where I will say, I've done this a few times. It probably seems so weird, like to some people, but it's actually so powerful and so energetic, where it's like, I've texted it, I've also sent like voice notes, where it's like, all of my energy is returned to me. All of your energy is returned to you. The cords of the past, the connections of the past are completely transmuted, are completely alchemized to return full sovereignty and power to us individually, with appreciation and gratitude of the past, how we have served each other. We only take with us that which is supporting us, that which enhances us positively beyond this moment, the here and now, anything from the past. All of your energy is returned to you. All of my energy is returned to me. We are sovereign. The cords are cut. Any of the energies from the past are cleared. We move on from this moment completely sovereignly, in connection to source, yet individual in our own energies. And so it is. And it'll come through different person. I mean, I haven't done this like too many times, but I definitely have done it. And it works. It works. So often speaking to that person. And if you're not in a situation where you can just text them or call them up, or they're gonna like think you're insane, which is also fine, because maybe that will allow them to remove their energy even more too. But if you're not in that kind of situation, then maybe asking your friend or having an inanimate object represent that person and saying it to them and really feeling it, like feeling it. And knowing all things are connected, and especially if you are taking the time and the space and setting the intention to do so and actually actively doing it, that is the earth formula. That's all that's required to shift and create a reality here on earth, is the time, the space, the intention combined with the action. If you do that, it will be shifted, it will be changed, it will be transmuted. And even if there is any like lingering energy beyond any of those moments, whenever it arises, it's, oh, return to sender, return to sender, return to sender, return to sender. And doing something even physically to like invoke that energy within your field, where it's like, nip, shift, shift, shift.
Beautiful. Hope that answers your question, Kelly. Someone else asked, Satya, can you
Thank you,
guide
Kelly.
letting go? We've had that one a lot, and you did answer it, but people are also just more questions about letting go. I'm letting go of anything and everything that no longer serves my highest self. Alessia, I'm here to truly embody my highest self. Beautiful. Great.
You're
And
doing so. You are it. Good job.
Aria, I'm letting go. I need to control the fear of the unknown. I second Mira's question, how to manage triggers. I would like to mention about triggers, it's an interesting thing because you only get triggered if that energy is within you in the form of insecurity or fear or, like nothing can trigger you if you don't have something inside of you that is resonant with that vibration of trigger. So I noticed when I used to get triggered a lot, um, I'll just make myself really quick. I used to get triggered a lot, and I had this really mean. I had a lot of mean people. Everybody has mean people come into their field, and this one guy, he used to say the meanest things, and it would trigger me. And I realized, and he said something one time. He said, "I'm gonna keep triggering you until you have no more triggers left." That was the best thing he ever said to me because I realized there was a gift in it. That the trigger itself was the message from my own inner being that I had that as an insecurity, and that insecurity that I was carrying, he was bringing it to light. And then in knowing that, for example, he used to be like, "You're so small," which I'm not very big. I'm a very tiny person. I'm like 5 feet. I weigh like 100 pounds. But I was like, felt bad when he would say that. And I would feel like really, really hurt. And I would get triggered. And then I realized one day, it's true. Like, as long as I feel small, then somebody saying that will trigger me to feel bad about it. But as long as I don't feel that way anymore, it doesn't matter what anybody says. I will never feel bad if someone says something about the way that my size, because I no longer feel any insecurity around it. So it's truly, the trigger is actually a gift. It's literally somebody pointing out something inside of you that needs to be reconciled and strengthened. And so as I got stronger in my own confidence, and I was like, actually, my size is a superpower. And instead of feeling like bad about it, I started seeing it as a blessing. For example, when I'm on a plane, I have the best situation. I'm so tiny, I can literally sit with my legs up on the front of the other seat, and I'm just chilling like this, doing yoga, and everybody else is like cramped and like horrible situation in a lot of small spaces. So I was like, wow, my size is such a superpower, and I have a lot of choices out of men because they're all bigger than me. But the point is that you can turn it around. And so whatever the trigger, if it's like this person's just their energy, if their energy is a trigger, if like literally their presence is triggering you, that just means that there's non-forgiveness still present in your field, and you have to work through that. You have to forgive, let go, see the blessing of their energy, let them go with love. But whatever the trigger is, it's literally always a message, and that message is a blessing. So instead of seeing the negative feeling, like Heather said, like transmuting it by seeing it from a bigger picture and seeing it from an outside lens instead of from that personal inner feeling, because that inner emotion is actually not who you are. You know, like a lot of times we hold emotions and we feel like somehow that's who we are, but it's not. Like we really are these divine beings of pure consciousness and light and love and like high vibration. And so when we have these lower energies, it's literally just the shedding of those old layers of your old self. And so maybe somebody's coming in as a mirror to trigger so you could have awareness that that still exists within. And then that awareness brings you to moments like this, ceremonies where you're surrounded by incredible high vibrational beings of light and you're reminded with better mirrors of the truth of who you are. So I'll bring Heather back on. Just thought I would share. Oh, wait.
Incredible. Thank you. Yes, it's exactly that. It's that our triggers really are our medicine. It is the medicine within us. And again, by like shifting the perspective about it, you access the power in it. So it's a clarification tool, really, the triggers are. And even with that, like knowing, oh, okay, there's something,
Oh, amen.
there's some medicine in this here for me. Yeah, that's where you access. That's where you access your power. That's where you reclaim it. And that's where you even shift the perspective in it. Simply by even just knowing that, if you can't identify it immediately then, where if it's like thank you for sharing that story, if it's like at first like what and then you kind of like feel that way, knowing, okay, no, there's something positive. Like if I'm emotionally or energetically triggered by this, if this is like causing something in me or within me or around me, then there's something positive about it. That's really all you have to acknowledge in that moment, and then it will become clear. So even just like if you're in an actual situation with someone and you are triggered in this situation, removing yourself to breathe. And you can say that to them or to the situation. I'm going to come back to this scenario. I'm going to come back to this situation. I'm going to come back to you, friend, lover, parent, sibling. I'm going to come back to you when I'm in a bit of a different energy. And it may be seconds, and it may be hours or days. Give yourself that time and that space, and then come back when you are ready to address it. Because often if we do react out of our triggers, it amplifies the energy. So it's important to instead remove self, allow for the energy to shift and alchemize and transmute itself, and then come back. And also, even as you do that too, it's going to assist and enhance the situation of that person, or allow for the energy of that scenario to also change and transition.
Absolutely. I have another
Yes.
good question by Mar. Mar says, I have a question about sacred sexuality and vaccine, which I'm not sure how those go together, but this was all one question.
Because they're like the two very opposite things.
I know.
One is about like your most divine life force frequency, and the other one's like to take that away from you. Which, by the way, can you hear this chainsaw that sounds like it's on my roof?
A little.
You can.
Not very loud.
Yeah.
Guys,
Okay.
clarify the question.
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want me guys to clarify the question?
Yes, please, beautiful. Hello.
Hi. So it's said by, well, I've heard so many channelers say that the thing with the vaccine is that it changes your DNA and you like cut like your communication with higher planes of whatever. And so I don't believe like segregating myself to the only who to the people who don't take the vaccine. But I also want to know if it affects you like in the sacred sexuality when you connect like sexually with somebody that gets vaccinated and you have kids, because I'm single and I don't know who is going to be my partner, and I don't want to only choose people who are not vaccinated or something like that. So I want to know if it affects you in some way. Thank you.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you so much for even just asking that question. So, yeah, everyone has their own perspectives, and if this is not in congruence with your personal perspective, please own your own perspective, and it's beautiful, and like, yeah, keep doing you. Personally, as you've mentioned, I've gotten so much clear guidance that yeah, the vaccines are poison and they have another agenda behind them. And also, our bodies are naturally resilient and evolve. And actually, viruses are natural to any type of ecosystem, like nature and within our bodies as well. And our bodies actually acquire wisdom and learn how to evolve because of viruses. So they're not even something that we should ever be afraid of, because our bodies can become more powerful and more able to, um, more resilient, healthier, even just being exposed to these things. So it's knowing that first and foremost, because the real disease, the real sickness is fear. And that's what will actually weaken your immune system, not a virus, actually, not a virus. And so with that awareness, and of course, yes, it's like a thing as well, but really everything begins energetically first, and really the virus is an expression and an extension of the collective state of consciousness in which has existed before, where it's kind of like this like disease consciousness, or like, yeah, just things that we actually came here to transmute and to shift altogether. But everything begins energetically. So if something comes into your field, it's knowing that energetically there was some type of something or resonance. However, there's a process for it to become physical. So that's actually the space where, even if it is already physical, in order for it to continue, you have to have a certain awareness or an idea or perspective about it. So when something comes into your field, whatever process it's in, again, giving it a different meaning, knowing that you are strong, that you are resilient, this has come in to strengthen you and grant you more power. And so with that, I personally don't believe the vaccinations are necessary at all whatsoever. And actually, again, I have gotten guidance that they're part of a different agenda altogether, and does actually shift your DNA, and has like its own trigger point where eventually it can like kind of shift into some form of like control mechanism. However, if people do feel called to get that, it's also knowing we are resilient. We are resilient as fuck. Like nothing can hold us down, nothing can change us, nothing can ruin us. Like maybe that is actually what part of your purpose of transmutation is, as a light being, to experience that, whether it is that you personally choose to get the vaccine or you are connecting with someone who has the vaccine. Now, with that question specifically, and like you're good no matter what. So even if something happened with it in the future of like what actually is coming through that specific thing, you are able to choose and to decide, and your energetic decision about yourself and your body and being is more powerful than any type of substance, any type of chemical, anything. So with your question specifically, um, if you are connecting with someone who has gotten the vaccine, it's not an energy, as long as you have awareness about it, which you already do, that you have chosen to not allow that into your field, into your body, into your aura, into your chemical makeup inside of you, it can't transition from one physical form to another. And especially if you are setting, and really it's good to do this before every sexual encounter with anyone or form of connection, setting your sovereignty. I am open to love and connection of the highest frequencies, but I am sovereign. I am sovereign. I do not take on anything that is not mine, anything that is not meant for me. I am sovereign. I am open to connection and love and that which is harmonious for both. However, I am sovereign in my fields, regardless.
Absolutely. I want to mention something because I'm such a researcher and I just watched a video yesterday. It came to me in the field, someone sent it, and it was a scientist talking about this exact topic. And so I'll give you also the science because it was really, really good. He said, interestingly, most people don't know that actually the vaccine, it's not a real vaccine. They're actually in the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control. It's international organization around that. They call it DNA DNA therapy experiment. DNA therapy experiment, genetic therapy experiment, they're actually not, it's not in the category of a vaccine even. It's based on the way that it has been created. So the reason that I'm even mentioning that, he went into much more detail about the science and everything about it. And he said that COVID cannot even be transmitted sexually. COVID is actually a mutation of cells that they did a bunch of studies, and they showed they literally took, this is really gross, they took the mucus, like the snot out of someone's nose, and they put it into someone else, and that person didn't get COVID. So it actually isn't even transmitted by mucus, and it's not sexually transmitted. It's a mutation of cells. That's why what Heather said is really accurate and also important, because you can understand first and foremost that it's your vibration and your frequency that is your greatest immunity. And so it doesn't really matter if you have sex with someone that has COVID, even perhaps, or that you have sex with them if they have the vaccine. Although I would mention, if you're considering a man, a partner who's getting vaccine, you might look at his level of awareness, because that's the major indication. It's like maybe he is either just ignorant, or maybe he felt forced to take it. But if he's amongst the group that feels this is really important to take it, he's not a very awake being, and he hasn't done very much research, because there's so much research from scientists, doctors. I work with Harvard as well. Like, I work with the top doctors in the world. And even the head of the health department of Russia told my really good friend not to take it. She said, I would not take this vaccine. It's not safe. They need 2 years testing for a vaccine to be considered safe. This one didn't even have 2 minutes. It was literally released after 1 month or something of non-testing. They haven't even tested it on animals, which everybody, they don't want animal testing, but they said, so humans are the lab rats in this case. And that's why the first month, literally hundreds of people died from the vaccine, and hundreds of thousands have received symptoms that cause sickness from the vaccine. More people are actually getting sick and dying from the vaccine. It's not being talked about in the news, but the scientists that I've tuned into that are literally like in university settings know these informations, because they're tuning into the truth, some of them, and they're putting it out on these little private networks. But the point I'm making is that if you're choosing an intimate partner for your sacred sexual exchange, you might want to look at the consciousness behind their actions. And so if they're like, yeah, vaccine, they may or may not be the right partner consciously for your vibration. If you're on the other side and you're saying, yeah, I recognize this is a human genetic experiment, versus this is the way to protect, because they've shown now across the board, the vaccine does not prevent COVID. It only lessens the symptoms, the lessens the possibility of symptoms, but gives you other symptoms. So it's like every other prescription drug that they offer. If you've ever seen in the news, it'll have a commercial, it'll say, take Prozac, it'll help you with your depression. And then at the bottom it says, but it causes insomnia, suicidal tendencies, and nausea, vomiting, and ruptured spleen or something. So it's like literally all the side effects are actually worse than the problem that you're taking it to cure. That's a little bit like the vaccine. So I'm a researcher, I'm a scientist as well in my heart, and I know I always like to see what are the scientists talking about that are in the know. And the research is conclusive. I'm not even going to say it's a debate. It's not a debate. They said even the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, has definitely confirmed the vaccine is not a vaccine. It is a genetic experiment, and they've called it that. And so anybody who takes it is a part of a global genetic experiment that is currently resulting in death and sickness very rapidly. And then on top of that, I believe, and the guides that I have had told me from the beginning, that it actually is going to have a long-term recurring effect, which means if you receive the vaccine in 10 years, you may actually have because they're saying it's causing neurological disorders, which means your mind and your nervous system is immediately affected. But they don't have any studies because they didn't test it. But even in the short term, 1 to 2 months, they've already seen immediate neurological neurological disorders and symptoms resulting from the vaccine. I'm just mentioning that for everybody here because I love you. Like, I'm not at all interested in pushing any agenda other than truth. And for everybody in my circle and in our tribe and community, I just want you to be safe. And so in that sense, that was the research most recently that I've been receiving, and from the scientists and from the doctors. So hopefully that helps as well. I love you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. It's so perfect. We're such a good little like dynamic duo because Dashima is all about like the information and the wisdom and the science and researching, and I'm like, I cannot read an article. I'm gonna ask my guides. Like I'm just like I channeled this from like the ETs, and like this is what's coming through. And she's like, well, that actually adds up with science because I read this article and it's perfect. It's literally perfect.
Super nice.
It's
Let's do a
perfect.
few
And we
more.
all have this.
Alexa
Yeah.
has a
Well,
Alexa.
the two, just while we're on the topic, I don't know if this is about vaccines, but while we're on the topic of vaccines, someone asked if we could do anything. I don't know where it went, but if we could do anything to help family members or people who have chosen to get that for themselves and maybe are experiencing symptoms or unideal things. Yes, absolutely. As light beings, as beings of light, if you've heard of like Reiki, you have your own, if you aren't like certified in being a Reiki master, you have your own energy that is healing. And again, in reference to the light grid being connected consciously and physically to all creation and all extensions of ourselves, you have the ability to send light and to send healing and to send power and to send health to anyone at any time. And knowing that, also, you have the ability to do it for yourself too. If you're ever experiencing an ailment or an imbalance, take a moment and be like, I am healed. I am healthy. I let go of anything, any aspect of this that does not serve me. I am protected. I am healed. I am healed. And you can do the same for other people too. You can imagine them resilient, healed, healthy, energized, vibrant, opulent. You can imagine them in these beautiful states of being and then see them that way. See them that way. It's important that once you do that, to not allow yourself to project a negative image onto them, because that is also felt. And especially if you are intending to assist them or to help them or to send them energy, when you imagine them, when you think of them, they're yes, but they're strong regardless. Yeah, there's that, but they're strong. They're healthy. They got it. They chose this. They're good. They are good. They are good. And then the other question was, how do we, what to do with, I think it was Satya, but what to do if our family members, okay, yes. How do we handle family members that they believe in the vaccine? And how to like stay sovereign in your own energy and answer about it, and how to deal with anyone who feels like this is a good thing. And again, if you are one of those people who feel like this is good, then that may be your purpose. That's your purpose, to experience that aspect of experience that particular reality, because they are actually dimensionally different, getting it and then not getting it, and believing that they're completely dimensionally different. Both are purposed, it's all perfect. But how to deal with family members and friends who do believe in it. Now, this is like huge. Okay, the number one way, and especially with, you can actually do this with anything, with any type of belief.
It's muted again.
My computer's I'm like, wait, someone like trying to hack into this or what? They heard us talking about this or what? But it's all good. It's all divine. They need this information too. They need it too. But if dealing with someone who believes in something that doesn't resonate with you, especially this, that energy of it's separation, obviously. If they're like, this is good, and they're trying to project this idea or this awareness onto you, this is this, and you're wrong because you don't think this, and whatever the case is, that's like an energetic entity of that they may not even know is like attached to them, but that is desiring energy and a charge from you. So by instantly dissolving the charge, like not needing to react or to respond. I believe this, or this is good. What are you doing? Like, why are you spreading this information? Or why do you feel this way? Dissolve the charge instantly. Literally come to a space where you breathe, you're silent, sit back, literally sit back. Let them go, let them feel their thing. And just be so strong and so sovereign in your knowing, I completely disagree. I completely disagree. I just feel a completely different way, and that's what works for me. I love you though. I love you. Regardless. Dissolve the charge. Dissolve the reaction. If someone is truly believing that and they are not able to shift it and it's not something that you can change, they have to go through their own evolutionary process of their own awakening in order to come to the awareness that they are meant to have. Maybe that's not your time to change their belief or to shift it or to transmute it in that moment in a conscious way through information, but instead energetically. So it's dissolving the charge of reaction or response and being so strong in your own knowing that the divine plan happens. All things end up shifting positively. All that is meant to happen does happen in a beautiful way. We all get there. We all get there. Some people go through their own trials, and it's going to take different times or incarnations for everyone to come to the same space. Yet we do. So it's knowing that you have your choice, your awareness, and that's enough. That's enough. That's enough. We don't have to convince everyone. And knowing that if it's true to your soul, you too can't be convinced. And that energy can't ever be taken from you. Even if a friend or a family member or someone externally believes a certain something about it, dissolve the charge. Oh, it's all good. I believe this. I feel this way. And that's where I'm at. So, what did you think about this? Or like this, and just bring in a light. Bring in a situation of light, an aspect of light. And also knowing, too, that you are, again, a conduit of a different way. Like, there are a lot of us out here, but in comparison to how many people there are on Earth, like, we are the ones paving this pathway. So it's knowing, too, yeah, challenges, trials, like, they're going to come to meet you. But your purpose is to stay anchored in this energy regardless. And it's more about frequency and energy within yourself and what you're feeling and what you're emitting, and not falling into the illusion of reaction just because someone else is in a different space of consciousness. It's like, oh, no, that's cool. That's cool. I'm like really clear about this. So yeah, I'm going to just maybe go over here. I'm just going to dissolve that. I'm going to call up my friend who like really knows that this, who really feels the same way about me. I'm going to activate this energy right now. So yeah, I hope that helps. If you have any other questions about that, I'd love to hear. And also Dashima, if you want to share.
It's such a good question, and I feel that this is something that a lot of people deal with. Let me just, I'll put my, wait, actually, I'm gonna be with you, Heather, in the group. I think a lot of us, everybody that I've ever met, who's a very high consciousness, old soul, spiritual being, has family members that maybe aren't as evolved or, maybe far along in the journey of spiritual development. So what I like to see, it helped me so much because my mother was very evolved as a spiritual soul, but she had a lot of trauma that resulted in addiction. And she ended up with losing her mind from drug and alcohol addiction. So she had a whole journey. But before that, she was the most awake person probably you would ever meet. She told me about aliens. She told me about everything, the government. She knew all the stuff that was going on. But the point is, so she was the mother, and then I have three sisters. Now, in the three sisters, one of them is very much non-spiritual, and she's very like adamant about it. She would say, I don't believe in chakras, this and that. Even though we grew up in the woods and went to rainbow gathering, like really from the beginning, she doesn't believe in it. She's chosen that path. And then two others, they're kind of in between. They're like, one's a nurse, but she takes a lot of psychedelic mushrooms. So she's but then everybody's got their level of consciousness is all I'm saying. So when you have a family, generally, each one of them is at their level of consciousness. So what I like to do, what helps me the most, is just to see they're doing the best that they can at their level of consciousness and their level of awareness. And so instead of seeing them as kind of an enemy, or like they're trying to bring you down, or they don't believe in what you believe in, they can only grasp what's in the realm of their ability to understand, which is at their level of consciousness. And so if you see everyone like that, whether it's the president of the United States, the rude person at the grocery store or something, or like your own family or best friends, you can really just have deeper levels of compassion, because you say, okay, they're doing the best that they can at their level of consciousness. And so instead of like a judgment, it's an awareness, it's an assessment and an observation. And then from that observation, you can say, like Heather, I have a different belief, but I love you anyway. And so instead of trying to get into proving why your belief is better, recognize there is no better belief. It's only a belief, and all beliefs can be changed anyway. I'm sure everybody here, myself included, has experienced where at one point you believed one thing, and then you evolved and you no longer believe that anymore. So you can realize that any belief that somebody is really adhering to, like, this is who I am, or this is what I believe, you realize at some point that will change. You can see that so many times when somebody, like, I have family members and they were really, really against vegetarianism. They used to think I was going to starve to death. And then 10, 20 years later, they're like, they went on the vegan path and he lost 100 pounds and he's proud of that. And I was like, yeah, it took you like 30 years, but sometimes it's all in perfect timing, and he wasn't ready 30 years ago. So he needed to go through 3 decades of obesity until his knees gave out, until eventually he's like, I'll try anything. And then the awakening occurs, and that breakdown, you have a breakthrough. So some people need to learn in that slow growth way. And then some people, it's like, they just know I'm going to make a change today. And now, like Heather, she's like, I just transmute it in the moment. That's not easy for everybody. So if her advice doesn't really work for you at first, it's okay, because some people, it might take a decade to transmute it. In some other person, maybe Heather, she mastered the energy to a point where in that moment she can transmute it, and it literally in that moment is transmuted. And that's the level of mastery that you want to get to. And that's what we teach, for example, at Flow State Institute, is how do you master your energy, your mind, your energies, your frequency, your entire beingness, to such an extent that whatever comes into your field, you can literally transmute it into light in that moment. That is a high level of mastery. I know Heather speaks about it very casually and nonchalant, like, yes, and then you just transmute it in that moment. But I've been teaching for 16 years, and I teach teachers of yoga, and I recognize not everybody can just transmute it in that moment. And in fact, I know people for 10 years, they're still working through this deeper layers, and it's totally okay. So never judge yourself or feel bad if you can't just transmute it in that moment, and recognize that we're all in our own ability in the moment. But the commitment is to that mastery. The commitment is that you want to be that being that can transmute it in the moment, and that's where you're going. And so as you move in that direction, everything is a test. So the person, the family member that's trying to beat you down about your perception is your teacher. And then you say, wow, thank you so much for showing me, because you represent billions of people who are also believing in the same way. Like my sister, who doesn't believe in chakras, she taught me so much, because she helped me to see, how do I communicate about spirituality so that I can reach even people like her who work at Merrill Lynch or whatever. How do I reach somebody in that perception with spirituality in a way that they'll receive it instead of reject it based on the words that I'm choosing. So it's a teacher when you have those people come into your field, whether it's your family or friends or whoever. And it's also a good practice to practice what Heather's teaching, which is transmute it in that moment. And that's the mastery, where you stand in your power and you breathe through it with your strength. If you look in Heather's eyes, she's a warrior inside. That's why she gave you the story about when she was an African man. Because that energy is strong in her, and you can receive that from her, and you can take that in as your own as well. You can take that in as your own, and just like when you say, I'm going to embody Lakshmi now, and I'm going to be a goddess of abundance, you can embody Heather's African past life energy and bring that in those moments when somebody is trying to be a combative energy to you, and you can say, no, I'm going to stand in my sovereignty, and I'm going to take my power, and I'm going to just hold it as long as I can, and if it feels too difficult, I'm going to walk away and maybe go cry if I need to. It's okay too. Don't feel bad about whatever arises, and keep staying true to the path towards mastery, and that's how you get there. Literally, we talked about when Heather got in this accident and broke her bones all over the scooter accident, and she's like, yeah, and I can't even do a shower properly. And I was thinking about all the samurai and the training that they do, and we talked about how in the samurai training they say, okay, stand on one leg on a tree stump for 3 days, don't move, no water, no food, stand there on one leg, and I'll be back. So if you think about the level of training required for mastery, you can look at every little experience that happens in your life and you say, actually, this is a piece of cake. Thank you for this. Easy piece of cake instead of the harder way it could have been. Okay, that's my 2 cents.
I love it. Thank you. Thank you. And it's so hilarious. Thank you for even just sharing the perspective of like, if that doesn't work for you, it's like, yeah, no, I feel that. I feel that. But at the same time, the reason why I do share it in that way is because, like, for me personally, it's information. Like, if a form of information comes online for me, then, oh, here, are we still on?
I don't know what happened. Now I have a person just came in.
I don't know either, but that's okay. But hi, everyone, because we're having like people just pop up. But if information comes into my field, it's an awareness, it's a form of light, and I'm just like, all right, that's available. Okay, I'm going to adhere to that reality. I'm going to make that my reality. And exactly that too. You can channel that as your truth as well. And it is just deciding a different way. So my reason for sharing things in the way that I do is one, because that's really how I experience them and how I deal with things. And also it's just like, try it. Try it. Just try it. Where it's like, yeah, all right, I'm going to choose a new way. I'm going to experience a different something. Okay, like I'm just going to try it. Here it is. And then it is. And I think really like this even just got me into thinking like why am I this way? Like yes, I do all of my practices, I do all of my things, but like I've really been like it's it's a mastery of frequency and energy and its practices and everything. And of course it's taken years to become who and what I am, but at the same time, shifting or changing a reality like quantumly has like always been a thing for me. And it really is just belief. I remember it's belief that you have this ability and that this is a possibility, that this is real, that it's true. You can literally change yourself. You can change a situation. You can change a scenario within seconds by simply knowing that everything is energy and that you have the decision to do so. You set the intention right then and there and you just do it. You embody it. You be it right then and there. Just try it. Just try it. And we can be like, oh, but this hurt me because of this, and I'm gonna hold on to this, and with this, well, when he said this, it meant this. And it's just like, let that shit go. Just like, nah. All right, I chose the light. I'm gonna experience something different. And like even as a child, I remember like I was able to do all these like sports or things, or it was like I could fix anything, or I could like just literally be able to do like anything, even if I had never done it before. And yes, it's probably I'm channeling something from past lives as well. But more so like as Heather in Heather's form, I remember being like a child and like having this awareness that if I believe that I can do something, I literally know how to do it. Like I literally know how to do it. I don't even know how I don't know how to fix this thing or like this. I don't know how to do toilets or like fix electronics or anything like that. Like I never had any information of that. No one's ever taught me that kind of stuff. But if I just decide, oh no, I can fix that. Oh, your necklace broke? I can fix that. Oh, a backflip? You just did that? I can do that. And literally just deciding that you can do something, that you have the ability, and knowing if that exists on earth, the ability to fix something or to change something, to embody something, to do something, to create something, if that exists on earth, it is available to you. It is available to
you. Perfect time to mention this is exactly right. And this is something I hope everybody will take this with you today. It's so important. You know, there was a famous story about this guy. No one had ever ran a 4-minute mile before. This guy, Hussein Bolt. I don't know if you know this story. Hussein Bolt, this black guy from Ethiopia or something, and no one had ever run a 4-minute mile, and so they thought it wasn't possible. And then he came along and he did it. He broke the 4-minute mile, and he was in the Guinness World Record. Literally within 1 year, thousands of other people had done it. And they just needed to know that one person could do it, that was possible. And then all of a sudden it unlocked all these codes, like, wow, that's possible. And now all of a sudden everybody's doing it. Now it's like 3.5 minutes. It's really like gotten even more. But the idea that it wasn't even possible was such a code in the consciousness that literally no one could do it. And then he came along and he was the Heather of the moment. And he said, you guys just like, everything's possible, watch me, boom. And then did it. And then all of a sudden, thousands of people was doing it after that. So it's literally just knowing that it's possible for you unlocks that ability. And the other thing I want to mention about what Heather just said is it's something that I learned about. It's the past life mastery is coming from your heart chakra being very open and in being connected to the source through your crown. So it's actually the 10th chakra. So we only have 7 on our physical body, and then we have more chakras, which is our energy field expanded beyond the body. And so we have 7, that's the crown, and then 8, 9, 10. Now your 10th chakra is actually your past life mastery. So when your heart is the only way to access it is through the heart. The 4th and the 10th work together. So as your heart expands more and more, then you have access to past life mastery and infinite intelligence, wisdom, guidance, downloads. And so the way to get to that is literally working on your heart chakra. And then it opens the portal for past life mastery. And like what she's describing is something I also experienced, which is I never did it before. I think I'm going to do it, and I do it. And it's done. Versus like, I need to learn this, because that whole process of learning, it's all it is a remembering. And so if it feels that you need to take 10 years to remember, that's one belief. And then the other belief is, I'm going to remember this right now. And then you bring it through. So it's literally a belief, it's a knowing, but also it's opening the heart to receive that, allowing it. Okay.
Beautiful. Yes, exactly. Yes. And so it is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You have some more questions if you want to do a few more.
Yeah, definitely.
Beautiful goddess Ellie. She said, I have family traumas, like they lived very simple life, put restrictions on us kids. We were not trusting people so much. Many reasons we did not achieve success in life, and it affected me as well. Very hard for me to forgive them and myself. I'm trying to let go, but anytime I cannot use something that I know it's coming from the past experience, I feel sad and angry. How can I finally let it go? You're on mute. Okay.
Question, because it went out like twice while you were saying it, unless you want to say it again, or if you want to answer the question, and then I'll
just say it again. She basically was saying she has a lot of family trauma, and basically as a result of that, she feels it's limiting her. It's hard for her to forgive them and herself because she felt the trauma was limiting their ability to manifest success and all the good things, and also has a lot of trust issues from that. So she wants to finally let it go because it's been recurring and bringing sad feelings and angry feelings to her life. She's ready to let it go. Past life trauma has been limiting her in every way, and she's ready to let it go. That's family trauma.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yes, this is definitely a thing where, for me, personally, I had a lot of family trauma just from my childhood, where my situation was my caretaker, the one who like brought me into this earth, was like also my abuser, and experienced the whole process with that, even just as a young child. And so I had a lot of like trauma and like trust issues and just like energies of like, what the fuck, like why/how, for a significant amount of time in my life. And for me, what was necessary, it's different for everyone. For me, what was necessary, and what I find with like a lot of clients that I work with and just other situations that I've observed, is it's necessary to remove yourself for an extent of time, because we are also interconnected and we're all extensions and versions of ourselves. And especially if we share blood or DNA or chemical components with someone else, like we do with family members, there's a deep energetic interconnectedness that exists there. And if it has been time and there hasn't, and you've like been doing the work and you've been working on your shadows, if you have access to this information and you've been going through it, it may not be that it needs to be dealt with full on, or there may be some type of like attachment or just an energy present in the field through that connection that needs time and space to dissolve. So for me personally, I had to remove myself for an extensive time completely from my mom and just release that identification as to who I was in connection to her and who she even was to me. Because often we experience, if you notice, like with certain people, you may express and embody a different energy, and that doesn't feel like it's you, or that's not your higher self, or it's not even really your choosing. Often that can happen because there are shadow imprints through the projections of other people. So shadow imprints of yourself existing in the minds or the projections of other people, or through relationships or things that you've experienced with people in connections that are being projected onto you, that you may be so innately familiar with and in habit of that you feel like you don't even have the ability to control yourself in those energies. And really, of course, it's like identifying it and acknowledging it and speaking it out loud and communicating with that person, that situation. But if it is not in a energy yet, if they are not willing to be open to your perspective, it's time and space. It's literally space where you remove yourself for a period of time, and you can communicate that. It's good to communicate that, what you're doing, that you need the space, that you need the time. And again, if that is not even understood by that person or those people, then that's okay too. But it's honoring yourself enough to remove yourself and honoring them too as well, because it doesn't feel good for them to experience it or to project a certain thing either, and they just may not have the awareness of that. So removing yourself for an amount of time actually allows for those cords, the identifications, the projections, to clear themselves, to clear themselves. And then you do the work as well, where you forgive, where you, and how do you just forgive? Like I'm literally hearing the questions to like after I say something, and also Dashma too. Thank you so much for bringing in the awareness of like, but like what? Because that helps in terms of how I explain questions and things. But
Yes.
you forgive in a way where it's like you don't have to necessarily understand or agree with what it is that they've done or what they think, but it's just knowing that you are here to embody a higher state of awareness, and holding on to the past identifications and the projections or the pains, that is not going to serve you. That's not what you're here on earth to do. It's literally letting them go so that they can dissolve and rewrite themselves. Again, with this higher frequency of energy that has come in astrologically, that is literally, it's happened, it's happening, we are in it. This is the actual case scenario, this is reality, where the field is more energetically supported than ever before. So even just removing yourself and allowing for time and space, things can literally be taken care of beyond you. Your guides are working for you, your higher self, God, source, the planets, everything. Often just by allowing yourself the time and the space to be silent, to be still, and to just set the intention to let go or to bring in more light, that will happen for you. That will happen for you in ways that maybe it hadn't ever before. So yeah, I feel like I could answer this question for probably 5 years. Dashma, you want to add anything?
I love that. I'm just going to say, because I think it goes really well with this other question that people have been recurringly asking. And I
Mm-hmm.
love because they're asking, how do you connect and get the messages from your guides? And how do you truly connect to, because that's the answer that I think the ultimate answer, what you're getting at, Heather, is literally the answers are within and your guides are there for you and they're supporting you and the energy is supporting you. So a lot of people are like, not, the clear channel is not so clear, like to that guidance and to that support. Perhaps there's reasons, like sometimes we actually create static in our field because of where we live, the food that we eat, the media that we consume, the people that are around us. It's all a part of what creates static in the field, so that you don't have a clear channel to your guides and to your knowing, to that mastery. Because literally, like, we're all masters. That's what I always like to say. Like, you're literally already enlightened. Like, the only thing between you and your master level enlightenment is just all of this layers of disbelief around that. So that's what it is. It's literally peeling that away. But if you want to share, Heather, about how people can literally connect more with their guides and also get more into the clearing of that channel, I can share how I do it, but love to hear you share specifically, because I think this answers like 20 questions that I'm reading, and they're all kind of saying, and then someone else actually requested if you could make a copy of your cord cutting statement, because it was so powerful. So we'll send that out after. But yeah, I want to hear on this. Oops. Where'd you go? Oh, there you go. Basically, you're going to tell how people can do so they can be connecting to their guides and have that clear channel of guidance. That's the number one solution to everybody's problems, I feel. When you have that, then all of a sudden, well, you don't have any questions or external sources, because it's really like asking from within.
Yes, yes. Okay, so there are a few things. There's two different aspects to this. The first one is that you are literally already receiving guidance from your guides. Your intuition, those thoughts that pop into your head, those aren't just like nothing of no substance. Those are intuitive messages from not only your higher self, but from different aspects and different extensions of guides with different perspectives. So you are always receiving, even if it's like, oh, well, maybe this is like not mine, or like, what is this? It's always a message. You're always receiving a message. And so when you receive ideas and intuition from yourself, identifying what actually resonates with you and what you want to keep. So first of all, you are already receiving all of the messages. You really actually are. And you are fully connected to your guides. You are never not connected to your guides. Really, there's no such thing as like, oh, I lost my powers or this, or I'm disconnected right now. No, not ever. Sometimes we go through phases and periods of feeling like we are alone, or like we are disconnected, in order to strengthen a different part of ourselves. But trust your guides are always there. You are always supported. You are always loved. You are always protected. Literally always. And sometimes if we are feeling like we're not receiving messages properly, then it could be due to overstimulation. Literally needing to like turn off the like things, turn off the people, turn off all the things externally, the communication, the external things, the influences, and literally just be in stillness and silence with yourself. Personally, like, it's like, what do you do? What are your practices, Heather? I have lots of them. My like most connective practice is literally just like not even trying to like meditate and like this. It's like, I'll do that too eventually, like if I need that as well. But often it's just like just sitting there, just like being there and like observing around, and just letting like everything like clear out from my field that has been overstimulating or that has like built itself up, and just being fully in your own energy. In your own energy. And often with that, that's when the messages will come. That's when the messages will come. And so if I'm like wanting to channel my guides, and it's for something, because for other people, like when I do sessions and when I have clients, psychic information where it's like dates, times, like specific answers, names, like it comes like crazy accurately, where it's like, this really is beyond me, because this is not Heather. Heather would never know any of this information. So it comes to me clear like that. But for me personally, for Heather to channel for Heather, I don't see the same things as I do for other people. often my path where it's like I'm feeling into like a relationship or a person or a feeling or a situation, and it's like my guides are not giving me the clarity that they give me for other people, because I have to experience it as a human on my own to acquire the wisdom, to acquire the experience and the energy and the information. So I personally, for Heather, often experience times where it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like I want to channel a specific answer. Which location am I going to? What date am I going back to America? And it's like, I don't know. I don't know. And they don't want to tell me a date. Someone else asks me, yeah, you actually go on April 15th. And for me, it's just like, absolutely no. So I experience things for sure, where it's just like, I'm not supposed to know. So if I am trying to make a decision though, and feel into something, the first thing that I will do is exactly what I explained, of just like, all right, I need to get everyone out of my field. I need to turn all the things off, and I need to just sit there. Not looking for an answer, not like, guides, I am calling upon you right now and explain. It's like, sometimes it's just like, and just the stillness and dissolving any of the previous stimulation. And sometimes it'll come to me right then. Sometimes it takes three days, 3 weeks. And if you do that, it usually comes pretty quickly. But sometimes it'll take like 3 days. And if it is a situation where I'm like, no, I need to know this now. Am I going to this event tonight or not? I need to make a decision. And I'm still in that energy of like, well, I don't really know. I'm not hearing like yes or no. Like I'm feeling something, there's an energy blocked or whatever the case is. Then I will speak to myself out loud. And like, of course, my guides initially, speak to them, ask them, guides, I would like assistance with this. I would like to know if this is for my best benefit to go to this event or not. And if it feels like externally I'm not receiving the information right then I speak to Heather. Then I speak to myself. Often initiating it by actually like looking at myself, like touching myself, like, okay, all right, Heather, do we want to go to this? Do we want to go to this? Okay, we're feeling a little anxious about it. Okay, is that intuition or is that ego? Is that fear? Okay. It feels more like intuition. Okay. There's something there. There's an aspect there that's not for my best benefit. So you don't want to go? Do you want to go? Do you want to go? No. No, I don't want to go. So I'm not going to go. And really making it that human, that tangible for yourself. And then in order to connect with like guides and receive the information, it's really about knowing you have that connection, trusting that you have that connection, and what you are receiving is accurate. And so you can actually ask your guides even, please confirm this. Please confirm the accuracy. If this is information from you, please confirm this. And you can ask for, I would like 3 forms of confirmation in my tangible reality to know that this is true. To know that this is true. And it can come through in the form of music. A song just plays and you're like, oh, it reminds you of it, or the words, the lyrics are actually like confirming it for you. It can come through in the form of a person, a piece of writing, something that happens outside. Someone walks by and they say the person's name as they're in conversation with someone else. Ask for confirmation and you literally will receive tangible confirmation. And often that's what's required in order to know that you actually are channeling your guides and you are really connected to your guides and you already are receiving messages. They're saying very clearly, it's not that like we need to align people to connect with their guides. They're like, no, we are fully here communicating to everyone. It's just about them clarifying and knowing that they are receiving accurate information and how to translate it fully. So ask for the confirmation tangibly so that you can receive it and experience it, and that will increase your trust in your own channel. And really that's all that's necessary, because then the clarity of the messages will continue to come through. When you innately trust, like, okay, no, I'm on point. Like I'm actually getting information. Like I asked for confirmation, and like it came in my reality in 3 super, super confirming ways. That's like, really, this is beyond me. This is source creation happening in my field right now. Once you have that and experience that, which you literally will, ask for it. Ask for it out loud. Then you'll know.
That's so right. That's so right, Heather. I want to get to a few other questions. We want to have
Yes.
closing as well. And I did see a couple questions, and I want to. Two of them was really touching to me. One of them was talking about their family had cancer, and specifically suffering from this type of thing. And this is something that I'd love to hear your perspective as well, Heather, in terms of people around us in your world, whether they get COVID, they get cancer. I feel like it's all the same, right? So I'll give my perspective, and then you can share as well. I'd love to hear yours, Heather. But when somebody gets cancer, the soul, any disease, truly any disease, I believe, is the soul's message that there is a disconnect between the soul, the source of life, and your physical reality. So that comes in the form of a disease. But it starts small. Most people didn't hear the message. The way that I've learned about disease is that it starts in the mind, and it actually starts in dreams. So you might get some weird dreams, and then you don't pay attention, and then all of a sudden it comes into your waking life in your mind, and you're getting these messages, not listening, and then you're getting the messages louder, and so it becomes an ailment, like maybe a mild cough, or it becomes a pain, a little tightness, and you still don't listen, and then it gets worse until maybe now all of a sudden it's a tumor, and then you're still not listening to the guidance, which is usually you need to change your something in your way that you're doing life, whether it's forgive people. Like if we have breast cancer, it's generally about the heart chakra. So there's like deep grief being stored in the energy center that can eventually harden and manifest into a tumor that can become a cancer that can become fatal. But the very seed of disease started in the consciousness, and there were messages there. And it goes really well with what you were just talking about, Heather, which is like just becoming still. And so you can listen to the messages. And also, like, we talk a lot about dreams. Like you get these dreams, and like when you're really clear and pure, you're like, oh, and we were flying on unicorns. But sometimes when you're in a place that you need more sort of a healing, you might get dreams about scary things, like, oh, I was getting eaten, or there was something really dark. And these dreams have a message, right? So you can actually look it up, and there's a whole psychology around dreams. But the point is, you get the message first in the consciousness, in the mind, in the dreams, then in the mind and the waking life, and then in the form of mild pain and anxiety and stress, and then it hardens and it hardens and it solidifies into eventually could become tumor or some kind of COVID, which is actually just a mutation of your cells, which is what the science is confirming, that COVID isn't actually what we're thinking, which is this virus. So when you sneeze, it's literally a mutation in the cells. So this is literally a consciousness that's becoming into physical form. And that's what sickness and disease actually is. And it's a message. And if we don't take care of the message, then we eventually will die, and the body will transition out of this body, and we have to start over. And that's what happens when people actually transition physically from their body, is that the soul's like, all right, I'm going to do another go at this in a different way. But anyway, I'd love to hear your perspective on this, because this one question she was dealing with, both of her parents got cancer, and this is not about cancer specifically, but specifically about families that, or even oneself, who gets sickness, gets disease, gets all these things. And these are energies, and these are things that's why I really so much believe in, like prevention and what we're talking about, which is listening to the guides, make the changes. This whole ceremony has been so much about this, and literally, like, you can prevent sickness and disease, and then once you get to such a good place with it, you can literally, you're immortal. Like, you start aging backwards. That's what happened for me. But the point is that, like, you have a shift at some point when you're along on the path long enough, and you realize actually you are the master here of your destiny, and that is something that you can control, whether or not you get cancer. And it's not just because it's genetic, you're predispositioned, you have to get it. That's all part of that disease mentality of belief. So let's hear Heather's perspective. I love to hear it.
Thank you so much for sharing. And yeah, so accurate as well. And this is like, you're right, it does. It's more of like a like a theme rather than like a specific question. But often us light beings, we experience things, as I've mentioned, in order to bring a higher perspective and frequency to them. So if one is a child of two parents who got cancer, you are experiencing that to bring love to those cancers, to those imbalances. If you are one who's experiencing it personally, you are again the one to bring love and higher perspective and reasoning and meaning to that particular experience. And often that is all that is required of it. That's the reason why it even came into your field, in order for it to change. Because we are literally conduits of the new earth, of 5D, of the fifth dimension, of a higher state of consciousness, of the new paradigm, of the new age, whatever it is. Lots of those words have like weird connotations attached to them. This new reality that we are creating, the reason why we came here, whatever it is that you associate with the words of what it is called, we came here, we are this in form. We are this literally in form. So we are conduits of this energy and this higher perspective. So we literally attract things or create things before we got here on Earth in order to experience them as a higher frequency being of light. Literally. And with that, it actually does transmute it. It actually does alchemize it. So not even having to think of like logically the steps, like, okay, I do this and then I do this and then it changes. It's like literally just bring love to it. And then it changes the whole scenario. It changes the whole situation. And it's interesting. Okay, they're asking me to even just share my perspective or my experience of like an energy that I am a conduit for. So when I was younger, I used to love like scary movies and like just watching all these things. For some reason, I would just like love watching scary movies. I've probably seen like 20 movies in my whole entire life. Probably about 10 movies in my whole entire life. Let's just say 20 just in case. And would love specifically scary movies. And the reason for that being is because I would see these like scary, like Freddy Krueger, just like these things that I would get them. I would love them. I would feel for them, like Jason. Like I totally knew why he turned into that way, and I felt for him, and I actually had love for him. And as I got older, I was like, what was that? What was that aspect of me that like loved watching those movies and like tuning into that frequency? And observed, wow, I would literally like take pride in the fact that it wouldn't scare me, and instead like I understood those beings. I felt for them too. And so as I have gotten older, I've been able to go into those realms of darkness and experience darkness, where I've held ayahuasca ceremonies, where I've done multiple plant medicine trips myself, where I've gone into these realms, where I've done my own shadow work. I was literally tortured as a child. Like I experienced so much like darkness, and yet wouldn't be affected by it. Why is that? What is that? What is that? And what I discovered, oh, my thing is out. What I discovered was it was literally that I am a conduit of bringing love and acceptance to these lower frequency energies, to the darkness, to transmute it, literally to transmute it. And so with that, when I've gone into these realms and I've experienced people having demons and this and that and all of these things, and it's like, I literally never have a bad dream. Like I've never had a situation where it's like these demons are coming to me or anything. Like actually, really actually, I've never experienced that. Ever. And I've gone into these realms like with an intention, like I'm doing the shadow work. All right, I'm clearing the things. I'm not fearing it. And the reason why these things haven't come to me is because they only feed off of fear and darkness. They don't feed off of love. So they can't feed from me because I love them. Because I literally, I feel love for them. And that's not the energy that they feed from. They only feed from fear. The darkness feeds from fear. So when I love them instead, and I'm like, no, I actually get you. I actually get you. I see why you are that way. And like, I forgive you. Like you're serving your purpose. It's not like, I hate you. Oh my God, this is gross. It's wrong. It's disgusting. Separation, because that's actually the real darkness. Instead, it's like, no, I see why you are this way. I get it. And I'm a conduit of love in that way. And it transmutes my whole situation. And literally also that situation where the darkness cannot continue to be darkness if it's not being fed its only source of feeding in order to be darkness, which is fear. Because then when you feed it love and acceptance, it transmutes it into love and acceptance. Because it's receiving a different energy source, a different food, um, a different variable of consumption. And as we all know, what you eat, you literally become. So in it receiving that, it actually transmutes it. So I've just observed for myself that I have experienced things and again, like been guided to scenarios and situations, even with my mom, like having experienced what I did as a child for all of those years. And now I had to remove myself and I had that period of time. And now she's literally, I'm not joking, one of my best friends. And she's had to do the shadow work. I had to cut it off where I had to imagine, like, I'm never seeing this lady again. I mean, if you know my actual story, she faked her suicide and I thought she was dead for 2 years. And so I had to literally create the awareness that my mom, I'm never seeing my mom again. It was like, I was born, it was great, and then I was tortured, and then I had to remove myself, and then she died, and now she committed suicide. And it was like, that was what my reality actually was for 2 years. And so once I allowed myself to cut those cords and create that awareness where it was just like, it was for the good. It made me stronger. It made me better. Remove myself, let the energies clear themselves. Dr. Phil Show ended up calling me and let me know my mom was actually alive and she wanted to change and wanted to do her own work. And then it took about 7 years of her doing her own shadow work. But now she's literally one of my best friends. And now she's like literally, she's changed in entirety. Now she shows up for me in ways that other people absolutely could not. She knows me. I know her. Like, we've forgiven each other. So it's completely changed the whole situation. I'm talking about this was permanent. That's why I truly believe, like, if you believe, if you decide something changes, if you trust it, literally the unthinkable, like, people will come back from the dead. Actually, like, it can change. It can transmute. Knowing you have this power and ability and you are the creator. You are the creator. So it's not about being in control as creator, no, but receiving and responding as creator.
This is such a good point, Heather. I just want to speak to that. Oh, wait. I keep making like that. Hold on. I want to speak to that because I think that's the number one thing that if anybody's going to take away anything, I think Heather, you're on mute. If anybody's going to take away anything from this experience, this session, I really want you to take that one point, maybe write it down. You could get it tattooed on your arm. I am the creator of my reality and nothing is fixed. So what she just said is the most important takeaway of this entire session as we go in this rebirth portal of equinox energy and recognizing, and hopefully all of the tools that have been shared are going to serve you so deeply. And the number one thing that really makes a difference is actually like believing in that, like believing I am the creator, owning that, and not being like, yeah, but what about my past life and this trauma and this story? Because Heather and I both had a really, really unusually horrible childhood. But the nice thing that came out of it, I think, and why we resonate so deeply is that we both came out with the same exact perspective, which is it was all divine. And thank you. And then not only was that divine, but literally we chose that so that we could be who we are right now. And you did too. Whatever you went through, whatever you're going through is literally the beautiful becoming of your majesty. And like the becoming of the majesty is truly just the remembering of that. But the I am creator energy, which is truly the embodiment of being one with source. Creator is source energy, and recognizing as that channel gets more and more clear, you'll have even more access to your unique power, your unique clarity of purpose, and then just magnetizing and feeling the support that's already available to you, but just literally like feeling it so that you can be empowered by the support that's available to you. And so it's like literally the number one thing that you could ever take away from anything that's been said today. And then being empowered with that, standing in your mastery, because you are a master, standing in your power. And someone in the comments, I loved it. They said, I channel Heather's energy all the time, and it gives me power and strength. And so it's truly like sometimes it's called borrowed power. Literally, if you don't feel strong in that moment, one of my favorite stories was Oprah. They asked her, they said, how do you, being the only Black woman sitting in all these boardrooms of like billionaire white dudes, how do you deal with that? And she said, I am never sitting alone. I am always like literally sitting with all my ancestors with me. All the women of all time are with me at every moment. So the power that you have is not just you and your experience in that moment. It's literally all the ancestors, all the guides, all the angels, the infinite beings of light constantly and always with you, providing that support. And that's what, when Heather opened the ceremony, that's what she was really talking about, that support is always there. And literally like knowing that. And if you need extra strength, literally channeling, anyone that brings that for you, but Heather or whoever, and just being like, okay, I remember when she looked me in the eye, even if it was on Zoom, and she had that face, and that face was of determinant knowingness of her own power. I'm going to borrow that right now because I don't feel it maybe, but I'm going to borrow that. And then the more you keep borrowing that energy, it becomes you, and then you remember it, and then you are that. And so that's a little practice. It's almost a meditation, but it's even more than that because it's literally like you can just do that in your waking life anywhere you are.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you so much. Yes, that's literally, it's a channel. It's literally a channel, and even like it's not even borrowed. Like that shit's yours too. That shit's yours too. You deserve that. That's a part of you. If you resonate with any of this energy, it's because you are it too. You have it too. Full on. And knowing these energies are infinite regardless. So it's not even that like, yeah, it belongs to only one person. It's like, nah, I just chose to embody this because I don't know, that's what I like doing. But it's like, you have it too. You are it too. Choose it as well. It's yours. It belongs to you. It belongs to you. Channel it through. I'm happy to remind you in some certain ways. That's really epic. But yeah, I love it so much. Which, by the way, I would love to, before we transition into our next reality where there's like so many miracles waiting for us, I feel called to do a little physical like invocation for ourselves, just kind of like move some energy, integrate these codes and things. Does that sound good, Dashka?
Yes, please. We have about 20 minutes left, and I did want to, at some point in the next 20 minutes, a couple people asked about, can we do this regularly? That was one of the like multiple questions, and so I want to talk about that, and then also talk about our Bali training and how people can be part of other things that we're up to, and also I feel like there was a good number of questions. I just wanted to talk about people who feel like they're not going to be able to travel because of the vaccine agenda. And so those are the only three last like questions that I thought that we should address. So we can do this before or after. And
Yes.
how do you feel before or after?
Okay. Yeah, let's do this before. This will be about like 10 minutes, not even, and it'll, or maybe even like less, or yeah. Let's just channel this little physical movement through to encode a lot of like what we just kind of activated in, and then yeah, we'll finish with those questions if that flows. Beautiful. Okay, yay. All right. So first of all, I want to know if you can hear me speaking while I play this like little song in the background, just to like activate some vibes. Which, by the way, wherever you're at, whatever mood you're in, if you want to just like sit down and move, then that's perfect. But if you can and want to like kind of stand up for a little bit, it's not going to be like extreme movement, but we're just going to integrate some codes into our body and being as we take these with us. So, okay, let's see. Can you hear this song, guys? Nod if you can.
Not very loud.
No, thank you. Okay, it's kind of a low song right now, but he ends up like kind of screaming, so in a good way. So I'm wearing a very interesting outfit. These are sweatpants. It's okay, we're an interesting person. So, all right, can you hear this? Can you hear the music now?
Not very loud,
Yeah?
but if you get closer to the mic, put it closer to the computer.
All right, whatever it's at, it's perfect. So first, let's just start by shaking it up, shaking the energy. moving your hands, moving your torso, just doing some free movement, maybe jumping up and down kind of, maybe moving your head, maybe doing this a little bit slower, just giving yourself some openness. All right, and now we're going to start with the chakra system. So first of all, grounding in with our feet. So it's kind of like moving your feet. If you're sitting down, if you're standing up, going like this with your feet. And grounding your energy in. And then moving it up your legs by shaking your legs. Shaking your legs. And coming up to the root and just doing some circles. Whether you're male or female or have ever done this move, it doesn't matter, just do it. And working it up. And then moving to your chest. Allowing circulation of the chakras. Keeping what is meant for you. Taking with you the energy that belongs to you. And then even like moving your neck. Opening up this space, integrating the codes. Rolling your head, your neck. And then also your crown. So like centering your energy with your crown. And now using your hands to sculpt your aura. So allowing for some free movement. Bringing in light to your fields. Maybe it's slow, maybe it's fast. As if you were massaging your fields here. Integrating all the energies, all of the codes, keeping that which is meant for you, that which is purpose for you, that which will benefit you along your journey. And taking your hands out front to center. And now we're going to tap into our own mudra here. So you can bring your hands close together, or maybe they want to just levitate. And allowing yourself for free movement. And we're actually going to be tapping into our own personal mudra of power, of activation, of resilience, of strength, of creator ability. So again, moving freely here just to kind of cultivate the energy as it is already energetically aligning itself before it exists in physical form for you. And then bringing your hands to prayer center at your heart, allowing for the energy to build. And now breathing into your hands, consciously breathing light into your hands and letting them expand and move into their own form of mudra here. And maybe a few of them happen. Allowing yourself to explore your own mudra, your own form, your own hand formation. And taking it over a chakra that you would like to activate. Maybe you scan your chakras first in order to find out which one that is. And charging this chakra with your mudra. Declaring that this is the space in which you activate your energy at any moment, any space and time, when you are desiring to channel and increase and amplify this energy of remembrance, of connection to your power, to your guides, to your own channel, you can do this mudra, imprinting it with the energy and essence of your higher self. And so it is. Coming back to prayer. And again, kind of like shaking it out, but it's not really shaking it out. It's more of like moving and allowing the energies to integrate. And let's see, what time is it? We have like a few seconds. Okay, for the next like minute, allow yourself to dance. Literally just like allow yourself to dance, okay? And coming back to center, even though, let's be real, we're always centered. Breathing deeply, either sitting down or standing in place, and just allowing yourself to feel the energies that you have activated. This divine life force, in which is yours eternally, in which has positively activated and amplified this moment and all moments to come, in which you carry with you forever and always. Feeling it, feeling your heart, your beautiful power and connection to source pumping blood throughout your body, saying, yes, I love you. Yes, I work for you forever. I am unconditional. I am always pumping to every part of you, forever and always. Forever and always. And so it is. And drink some water and coat it into your body and being. This is yours forever. And so it is, and so it is. Yay. I think my thing was pausing for a little bit, but it's okay. It's just like, take a break, Heather. Just take a second. Just like pause the energies. Take it in, take it in. We're all doing the same.
I could still hear you, but your face was a little frozen, but it was perfect.
Yay, well,
I want to bring us to a closure, not because my computer has 2% left and I'm the host. So
oh,
I
yeah.
want I want to bring us to the closure and thank you
Yes,
so much,
please.
Goddess Heather. Everybody post in the comments your response, what you felt, how did you like the ceremony? I hope you enjoyed it. We had a few people asking if we can do this regularly, and we actually were talking about that. So I think Heather's going to be maybe once a month. We were talking about maybe she can read with us at the Flow State Institute. We actually, with our teacher training, we have an online program, and Heather's going to be teaching at the Flow State Yoga Teacher Training in Bali. We're doing a huge event. Everybody's welcome if you can come to Bali, and we'll even help you with the whole vaccine travel situation. We can give you all the information that we have, and also get you in touch with our visa people to be able to be with us in November here in Bali for either 10 days or 30 days, and actually become a certified international teacher of this amazing energy that we call flow state energy. And Heather's going to be teaching a lot of workshops and ceremonies, and also it's a full program. So basically, I'll put the link here for everybody who would like to learn more about that. And we would love to have you with us. And if you use the code Activation Vibration, you can get 10% off of your tuition. But I'm going to put this here. It's flowstate.yoga. And if you go to the page, it's called /apply, and then you're going to learn all about the training and about Bali, and you'll see the different everything that's involved, where we stay, the food that we eat, the magic that we create. It's 10 days or 30 days. You could also do the online program. If you can't travel or you just want to get started right away, you could do the online, and you can tune in regularly. Heather will be hopefully teaching for us every month, and then we also have other workshops every week. So there's a way to stay plugged in. You want to say anything else, Heather?
Yes, yeah. So if you have ever wanted to come to Bali, ever wanted to get like a yoga teacher certification, or just even hang out with me in Bali, this is the opportunity. Like, this will be so epic and so fun. And like she said, it's in November. I'm gonna be going back to the States, and then I'll be coming back before that. So if you feel called to that, please come. And again, using the code Activation Vibration, for those who use the code and who I know like came from me, I'm going to be hosting like a few special workshops and events here in Bali, like kind of just for like the Activation Vibration crew as well. And then yeah, I'll be hosting some workshops and like really fun epic things at the retreat as well. So we're really so stoked about that. And yeah, if you feel called, like, let's do it. Let's do it.
We love you. We would love to share more of this. Imagine 8 to 10 hours a day for 10 to 30 days. Your life will never be the same. And at the end, you'll be able to be a part of our team as well, our tribe of light workers, raising the vibration on Earth, and being a big part of this big wave that we're creating around the planet. So we're going to close. Do you want to do a close? Only because I only have 1% now, you guys. I love you all. Do you want to do a closing prayer?
Yes. Okay. So tuning in to your own frequency here, closing your eyes, breathing in deeply, acknowledging that you can instantly access this source of connectivity, of presence and power, regardless of the external, regardless of situation. You are here, you are present, you have access, you are in connection to your soul, your spirit, source, creation, higher guidance. Giving gratitude and appreciation to all of the beautiful guides of light in which have joined us here in this space, helping us to co-create this portal. Gratitude for the new connections to the higher realms, new guides in which have come in for you, the confirmation that is to come, the miracles that are to come, the alignment in which has been created. Anchoring in this appreciation, acknowledging, yes, you receive your own source. Yes, you are fully embodied as your highest version of self. May you enjoy all moments to come. You are supported, you are guided, you are loved, you are protected. infinite divine realities continue from this one. And so it is.
Ashe, we love you. Have a beautiful
Love you,
day.
beautiful beings. We'll see you soon. Do something to integrate this energy, whether it's like something that feels good or just laying down and sleeping. Or maybe just drinking water. Just acknowledge, like, I'm integrating the energies right now. I'm taking this with me forever. You are. You are. Love you. Bye,
Thank
beautiful
you.
beings. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mark. Blessings, blessings. Love.